Finance Committee is called to order. Our chairman of the Finance Committee is unable to, at the last minute, make it. We have one item that requires timely action, and Alan, would you
Mr.
do that so that we might do that? Move the balance of the meeting to the appointed time prior to the next board meeting.
Mr. Chairman, may I take roll first, please, so we can establish a quorum in order to do business? Thank you. Trustee Baker?
Here.
Trustee DeLay?
Here.
Trustee Freeman? Trustee Jacobs? Trustee Martin?
Here.
Trustee Smith?
Here.
Trustee Eisenberg?
Here.
We do have a quorum, sir.
Okay. And I told you incorrectly. There's probably two items we need to address today. The first one would be, they go together. First one would be tab 2 for the compensation plan. And then the second one would be the operating budget, which is tab 6. And the only reason I say that is because the compensation plan is embedded in the budget as well. So if okay with you, we will start with tab 2, compensation plan allocations. And I will bring up my lifeline here, Kathy Musselman, who will outline the information there and answer any questions you may
We're
have.
going to lose our quorum in 6 minutes.
Okay.
Good morning. I can speak louder if I need to. Thank you. I'll be quick. Back in May, you all approved a 2% salary allocation for us to implement raises. We did that first session in July. We did 1% or $500 across the board to all employees. Thank you. And so our next item we would like to do is to use the remainder of those funds that we had allocated and add an additional $1 million out of tuition and other funding to implement another session of 2014-15 data for faculty and administrative and classified staff. With the funding that we have available, we're only going to be able to implement 43% of the predicted salary for those employees. And those that allocation is shown on page 11 of your materials. So that's what we're recommending that we proceed with at this point in time. This gets us closer, but we're still far behind. And so.
Are there any questions, comments?
I have one comment. Going forward, after we just make this decision, could we request an update on how far distant we are from a true target? Because I know market is an easy way to quantify where we're, that's our current goal, state a shorthand for our current goal, but that's not our long-term goal because our market is way below this. So could we kind of update this information going forward?
Sure. Is that's good?
Yes.
And maybe I'll have one for the board, the morning of the board meeting. We don't have to wait till way off.
We wouldn't
That'd be a
have
little
that
too soon.
update.
Yeah, that'd be
that
too
takes
soon.
quite a while to do,
Yeah.
to current.
Do I hear a motion to approve the recommendation of finance?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Hey, Joey has checked off on this?
Yes,
Okay,
we have discussed.
thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous.
Thank you. And our other item today that we need
Thank you.
to discuss is the October 2019-20 October revised budget under tab 6, starting on page 45. As you recall, the July budget, at that time, we don't have a lot of information, so we're usually just bringing over last year's budget. We know appropriations, but we don't know tuition and fees, enrollment, and all that information at that time. So our October budget allows us to know what our fall enrollment was, what were all the tuition and fee increases that were passed by the board, some other information as well. So this one is more of a true budget for the year once we get to October. Starting on page 47, we go through the various schedules of E&G. That's our main budget revenues. As you will see, we added dollars to the tuition and fee line. Most of that is for the additional enrollment we had. Also, we did not, in the July budget, we did not put the full 2.36% tuition and fee increase in that budget, so the rest of it goes here. And if you recall, we went up on graduate tuition more than we did. It was an added amount, so that's in this number here. So that's the main change when you look at revenues. If you look at expenses on page 48 and 49, the only difference here I want to point out is, and I point this out every year, from July to October, July is a base budget. October, we've closed out the old year. So in October numbers, we have carried forward those allocations that were not spent in the previous years for designated fees like course fees, distance ed learning, those designated fees that we charge students that haven't been spent, along with encumbrances that weren't spent by June 30, and then some special requests along the way. So that's why you'll see the difference between July and October. The next two pages, the first one being auxiliary, you will not see much change there, but if we did notice something, we made minor tweaks. On page 51, that's our restricted, mostly grants and research. And we made a few adjustments there, just things that we know now that we did not know in July. So just not a whole lot of change there. Page 52 shows a total. When you look at the unrestricted E&G, auxiliary, and restricted together, kind of gives you the university's total budget at approximately $450 million. And last, on page 53, this schedule did not change since July, but it's a summary of projects we have out there that have been approved for bonding if we need it. That doesn't mean we will go forward with bonding those projects, but it does give us a line of credit in case we need it for those projects. That's the first stage you want to go through when you're even thinking about a project, because you don't want to get behind the eight ball and have to get that approval when you first start thinking, or when you're ready to do that project. So that's a quick summary of the budget. Gives you a little idea between July and October what's going on.
Have we lost a quorum?
We have lost our quorum, so
Now, so how many does it take to have a quorum?
4.
Well, 1, 2, 3, 4.
They have to be members of the committee and,
But this isn't audit and finance.
sorry?
This isn't audit. So they're appointed in the same way.
Well, but they'd have to be appointed for the whole year, right?
Well, but you haven't been appointed, and neither has Tom. What I'm trying to say is
No,
we've
I
got
understand.
the only committee that has to be voted on is audit. And this isn't audit.
It is true, Mr. Chairman, that you have the authority to appoint members of the committee, but this is a little extraordinary.
Well, it's no more extraordinary than counting Tom's vote on the audit. I mean, we count Tom's vote on the audit committee, which was not correct. But the point is, they've been appointed. They've wanted to be on the committee, and I've appointed them, and I think we should go ahead and take a vote.
So to clarify, who is now, for the purposes of this item on the,
All the board members present.
all right, sir?
And does that include for the rest of the year? Those appointments? Those additional appointments?
Well, there are no
Do
additional.
now, they should then.
I mean, that's, we whatever you
Okay.
want to do.
No, I'm okay. I just,
It's okay with me to lose a quorum, and we'll do what we said. We meet the morning of the thing. But I don't, we operate under two different I don't think they have to be approved. I think they're appointed by, you're the lawyer and I'm not, but I think every other committee is appointed by the chairman.
As I just stated, that is correct. An Audit and Compliance Committee is the only committee where the board has to vote to approve the membership, but typically we don't
Well,
change
but his-
membership.
So you're saying his appointment is effective, right?
Who?
Steve?
I don't think we've changed committees. We've just, we've added Tom when he came on.
That's your prerogative, Mr. Chairman. It's just,
I think it's fine.
So we want to call for a vote then?
If you made, now, after saying this, I don't want to expedite or retard conversation on the budget. So I'm expecting a full knockdown, drag-out, 2-hour meeting at the next one. Because I don't want somebody to say, we're rushing this through. But if we have to, if we have to do it prior to a date, and that date gets here before the other, we could have a phone meeting tomorrow, I suppose.
So Alan, are the next 3 weeks, are they crucial to this decision?
Well, our budget does go to Tennessee Board of Regents, so for a piece of it. And so we're, and it rolls up to the state, so that's why,
I got you.
before it goes there, before they get it in their materials and send it to their full board, we've always had it approved locally first.
May I ask, Ms. Zimmerman, as the lawyer and executive advisor, would it be appropriate for us to vote for the people who are here to vote and get a phone vote from the committee members who aren't here, or does that violate quorum?
well, we would have to notice another special called meeting of this committee.
So all the members would have to call into the phone at the same time?
Well, or be, come and physically be present.
I was just trying to avoid physical presence.
And I don't have those dates in front of me for TBR, the timing and stuff. I used to, but we kind of put our dates around their dates. So what I can do is go back and look at what those dates are, and if, depending on when our next meeting is, we might need to move it up or, to try to meet their deadline. Or I can work with them and say, can we give it to you subject to,
We're going to take
our approval?
let's take about a 2-minute recess where we try to find Pete.
And if Pete could call into this meeting?
No, he's on the phone, but he had,
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Well, while we're recessing, I'm confused.
why don't we just, why
Are
don't,
we saying
let me say, I
it's
think
your
the chairman.
prerogative
I
as
think the
chairman to make
chairman-
appointments?
What do you think, Tom?
What do I think about your ability to make appointments?
Yeah,
Oh, if that sounds like
Yeah.
that's appropriate, so.
well, then.
Is there a challenge?
Let's just do that. JB's made a motion. Would you second that, Mary? Or would you rather not?
I'll second it if I can make a comment. I think it's a little irregular to appoint people for the purpose of getting a vote done only.
No,
And I would not like
he's on
that
the
to be a
committee
regular,
forever. But I don't
Yeah.
think you've been officially approved for this committee.
and I agree with you, I don't know.
I've appointed you, but there's been no official
I think we need to
confirmation.
work on this.
Looks like we have a quorum.
Okay,
We have a motion, and we have a second.
yep.
All in favor of approving this budget with the stipulation, Pete, that we get a full knockdown, drag-out at the next meeting prior to the board meeting, so we don't, nobody's trying to curb questions or conversation. Right. Let's have a roll call.
Trustee Baker?
Aye.
Trustee DeLay? Trustee Jacobs? Trustee Freeman? Trustee Martin?
Aye.
Trustee Smith?
Aye. Let's go ahead and add trustee Boyd on there.
Trustee Boyd?
Does that conclude your?
That
But-
concludes,
and-
yes,
and-
until the
But you're going
next,
to give us the whole thing next?
yes.
Okay, and that's going to be the morning of the board meeting. We'll get back on that. Thanks for bearing with us, and
You let everybody
I
know.
think we had a successful meeting. We're adjourned.